Hey, what's happening? Thank you so much for being here. I am Chris, and you clicked on the right show at the right time at the right place, baby. This is Cool Cars with Chris, and on today's episode, you know that Mustang I picked up, that 2005 Ford Mustang for my son who just turned 16? Well, he doesn't have his license yet, but he's going through that. We're going to talk about that. And yes, I even let him drive the car. Yeah, in a controlled environment. Yes, very carefully. Yes, you'll find out how he did. Oh, and Courage himself was gifted a new little project he's going to start working on. I don't know how it's going to go. We'll find out. We'll tell you what that is on this episode. And topping it off, you know, in the world of AI everything, we're discussing what it's like to actually be human and to connect with human content like this show right here. If you're ready, here we go. Brought to you by us two humans. Let's go. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I got the legend YouTuber himself, Courage. Yes, he's got Courage, and his name is Courage, on the line. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good. Trying to have all the courage going into the week. Glad to be here as usual, Chris.
Hey, Monday is tomorrow as you record this, man. How are you a Monday guy, or are you kind of like dread Mondays?
I'm on kind of a mission to enjoy Mondays, but Mondays do come with a level of responsibility where just a lot of things are. You might have been in a certain flow mood during the weekend, and that you kind of have to change gears when you go into a Monday. So I'm a Tuesday guy, to be totally honest.
Really? Yeah.
Like Monday is like you're still sort of getting your sea legs, getting things situated. Tuesday, a lot of times I'm like, okay, like I feel like I'm kicking it into gear. I can get through the week, kind of thing. So if I can make a shirt, I'm like, I'm a Tuesday guy. I would probably do that.
But how's your Friday, man? Are you like Friday? Yeah.
Yeah. Fridays. Yeah. I mean, I try as you get older, I think, you start to, maybe, I don't want to say lower your expectations, but you realize that every weekend's not going to be this big grandiose thing. Like, when you were in college and everything, like the weekend comes and you just lose your minds kind of thing. And so, I think going into Fridays, you do have this kind of a little bit of pep in your step, and you probably got some plans kind of here and there, but I try to keep it kind of at a level, like expectation level, where it's like, unless I know for sure that I'm doing something crazy exciting, it's like, just go into it, enjoy the day. Like, I am probably putting on a little bit more of the coastal music or like the reggae music around that time.
There you go, man. Nice.
Yeah. How about you? What are you?
Oh,
are
dude,
you a Monday guy?
I used to be like spur-of-the-moment kind of guy. Like, hey, if you walked over on, say, Friday afternoon or even Saturday morning and said, hey, you want to go to Vegas today? I say, yes, let's go. Let's do it. Who's driving? Let's go right now. I'm going to get a room. Let's go. Let's do it right now. Or, one thing I've always wanted to do, but I've never had an opportunity to do this, and as the older I get, I don't think it'll ever happen for me, was that I heard stories where people will be like, literally a Friday night after work, like say you got off work 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever. And then what are you guys doing this weekend? Oh, what are you doing tonight? Want to go to Vegas? And they would do a literal like Vegas turnaround, like drive out to Vegas, hang out, and then come back in the next morning and like do it all with like no sleep, not staying anywhere, and just go and come back. I've never done that. I would need my sleep. I don't think I pull that off. But I've heard people. Oh,
so they would go on the Friday and come back on the Saturday morning. Wow, that's
or Saturday midday,
crazy.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
That's intense.
Yeah, like I've always wanted to do that. I was kind of curious, like how can the body like stay awake for that long? Because you've been up for like early morning, Friday morning, going to work or whatever it is, and then you try to just like go all through. I have been to Vegas like after working a Friday night, or Friday afternoon, getting off work and driving up to Vegas. I've done that. Lots of traffic. I tell you that much. If you go hit like 5 o'clock hour or whatever it is. Yeah. But I've done many road trips to Vegas, and it's always a good time. So, but I don't have any Vegas plans. I think about it. But the last Vegas trip I did was a spur of the moment. Oh no, it wasn't the last Vegas trip I did. I take that back. But one Vegas trip I did was awesome because it was to see the Chargers versus the Raiders in the Vegas stadium. Yes, and we made the decision to go literally like Saturday morning. And they played Sunday. So we're like, okay, well, we want to go. Okay, way to get rooms. Looked up flights. Flights are expensive. Couldn't do that. So we
Yeah.
just drove. I said, kids, pack your bags. We're going to Vegas right now. We're leaving in 1 hour. Get what you need. Let's go. And
Yeah.
so literally that's what it was. And
That's
we
pretty
came
cool.
back after the game, drove directly from the stadium back here to San Diego. I had to work the next day. It was Monday, but it's whatever, you know? So
Yeah.
that was epic. I love that.
Sometimes having, those spur of the moment, situations I think are just kind of what life's about. Like, it's kind of cool to, I guess when you go into something, you got a full on plan, like this is what we're doing, XYZ, but there's something special about like having a spur of the moment deal and like executing it, like actually doing that. So that's pretty cool for sure.
Yeah, that's what I used to do a lot of. And I think it's probably how I kind of roll. So my problem is when it comes to the weekends is that I think if I want to do anything really big like that, you kind of have to have a little more planning, at least the hours on the clock. Because if you're trying to plan something, say tonight, it's Sunday night, you want to do something tonight? Well, tomorrow's Monday and it's like late already on a Sunday. I mean, what are you going to do, you know? So I think maybe Friday, and that's my thing. I guess Friday comes around, I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then I'm trying to juggle kids and trying to juggle different things. And I got this practice to be at, and I got this other thing I have to be at, and, pick up this, move this, do that. So lately my weekends have been kind of like just doing stuff. I'm trying to get back to doing more fun stuff, like taking the, well, I guess new to us, Ford Mustang out and drive around.
Yeah. No, I've been seeing some of your pictures and some of what's been going on. You gotta tell the folks how that's been, with you and your son, and you getting behind the wheel of the Mustang a little bit more as of late.
You know what? I actually wanted to buy one of those Mustangs when they first came out. I remember that first design came out. I think we talked about it in the last episode. Is that I really wanted one of those, and my son has always loved Mustangs. He's always been a car person or car kid. He's got, his t-shirts are car themed stuff. He's got on a screensaver on his phone, it's like car type stuff. So his phone cover for his iPhone is like a car or like a JDM car. I think it's a GTR, like R32, I think, or something like that.
Nice.
Anyways, so he's always been in that kind of stuff. And so when you think of like cool, like cars, Mustang has got to be in that list somewhere, if not one of the top cars. Because you think it goes way back like to the mid 60s. And it was cool back then. It's recognizable. It's been in like 5,000 movies. It's a super cool car. Everybody knows it. It's world famous. And so the fact that he has one and it looks like fairly, great condition.
Yeah.
And it was not like a beater either, you think about it, 2005 Mustang, especially like a V6, it's probably not like a GT or a Shelby or whatever. I don't think it had Shelbys. Maybe they did. And
like later half of that. Maybe,
So something like that might have been well kept up. We're talking like just a V6 Mustang. Yeah, it's a premium package. And but it's in really, really good condition. And so when I went to pick the car up on Saturday and brought it back over here and we just drove the thing around. I've been driving the thing around all weekend, taking it everywhere. And it feels great. I mean, listen, it is an older car. There's vibrations. There's this, like, you put the air conditioning on, it does kind of like vibrate more. I feel like the engine's struggling. I don't know if what the deal's with that. It's a 20-year-old car. But other than that.
But little, I
mean,
little things that you would expect for age, but still a solid car nonetheless.
Right. And it's got lots of like, I'll say low end torque, but really if you put it into, the shifting on the car, it does not have paddle shifters. It does not have any kind of sport shift mode. It's literally like throwback from the past, man, where it's like reverse, neutral, drive, and it's got like 1, 2, 3.
But it does have that big old like you're pulling like a bolt action like trigger type like gear shift, right?
Right, like it was from like the 1965 Mustang, the original Mustang. It made it look like the original Mustang.
which
So
is super cool. It's almost like like in Star Wars, where you have those little jetpack thing, or those not jet, but like scooter things, where you would like have this whole handle that the one side of the handle where you pull it
talking
back.
about on Return of the Jedi when they're flying around those motorcycle
motorcycle things, yeah,
yeah, kind of like that, yeah. So you have that thing to move, which you get used to it because it's not I can't think of the word now.
Ergonomically,
yes. So you can't put your hand around easily like you can like a modern car automatic would have.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm using that thing and we're driving around and it feels great and I'm just toying with it. I put it in first gear. It really feels like you feel the torque and the power. Probably first is probably more designed if you want to like tow something or haul something or whatever, get it moving or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Most people just put cars in drive and forget about it, which is fine. You can do that too. But first feels very smooth, feels great. So we're driving the car around. We got it washed, so it looks fantastic. That's one thing. This paint job looks great. I mean, listen, there are some scratches on the paint. I'm not going to lie. 20-year-old car, it's not perfect.
But you sent me some pictures though, and I'm in that that gloss red really pops. Like,
it does, doesn't it? It does.
It's really cool to see that again. Somebody took such great care of it that it's it's not like faded, because you see like some faded red colors.
We saw one today. I saw a Mustang probably around the same era, probably 2005, 2007. It was a blue one, right? With like this faded like hood and roof. It was like that. It was blue at one point. It's like faded to like nothing kind of look, sun beat and sun faded, Yeah. And we saw that like, man, we're like parked next to it. Like, damn, look at that thing, same year car practically, So this car literally feels like a time capsule. But like I said, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. But it is my son's first car, which I think it's super, super cool to have a Mustang like that, or any Mustang really, as your first car. That's super cool, man. Like I would die to have something like that. And the piece of crap I drove when I was 16. But so I was thinking like maybe we should take him out and get some practice in his car. Now he does not have his permit yet or his driver's license yet. He is studying right now to do his actual exam, because right now in California you got to take some online course before you even can go to the DMV and do your actual permit test.
Yeah.
So you have to take the course first, pass the course, get a certificate from the course company, take the certificate to the DMV and do your permit. That's the way I understand it right now. And once you get your permit, you still got to wait a full 6 months before you can actually take your license test.
And don't you still have to get they want you to get a certain amount of hours, but you also have to have an adult, obviously a certain age, with you driving during that 6 months?
I'm not too sure. We haven't quite crossed over that line of permit. You got to go from, we're on the first stage of getting to the permit. But once you get to the permit and go from permit to actual driving test, that's the part you're thinking of where you have to get an adult, have a training course and pay for a driver's training ed, company or whatever.
You ever been in not to interrupt, but have you ever been in those those training course cars where they have the two steering wheels,
No, but I see the one I had. The one I did when I was in school, it had the brake pedal on the passenger side.
Yeah,
the trainer.
Yeah,
so they can stop in emergency. I didn't have a steering wheel though.
Yeah, back in the day when I did mines, I was because I did a course and it was two different instructors and they both had different cars, but they both had a full on steering wheel, brake, gas on the passenger side.
That's gotta be trippy though.
It is.
It reminds me of those garbage trucks. Or is it garbage? I think they have those in the garbage trucks. Have the ones where it's steering wheel on the both sides or whatever kind of thing. Something goofy like that. I think it's garbage trucks. Maybe it's Mailman I'm thinking of. I don't know, some truck like that. They've got them on both sides. I've seen that, but no, I don't know if they do that today. I don't know how it works today. All I know is that you're required to do a 30-hour course before you can get your permit. And I had to look up a few companies, and there was one company I looked up. They seemed local. They were online. They had all this reviews and all this stuff. They seemed priced right. So that's the one I purchased for him to do. So he logs in with his own account, and I can monitor it on my account and see like his progress, like how many like lessons he's done and like things like that. So he's almost about halfway through the lessons, but there's probably a bunch of tests he has to take at the end, but going through like the course part. So we will see. I said, do whatever the instructions tell you to do. Just follow it step by step, complete each course step by step. But I know he's excited to drive. I'm excited for him to drive. We're all excited for him to drive.
Yeah.
So today I say, let's go do some practice running around. But it has to be in a public parking lot. It cannot be a private parking lot. It cannot be a public road or public parking lot. It's got to be a private parking lot, because when it's a private parking lot, although the company that owns the lot probably does not want you to do that, but a private parking lot, there are no laws. There's no city laws or street laws or regulation laws at all. But the moment you leave the parking lot on the public roads, it's fair game. Did you know that even in like a mall parking lot that has like stop signs and that kind of stuff, that legally you can just run those and no cop can give you a ticket?
I did not know that, actually.
Because it's not a public road. It's a private place. It'd be like putting a stop sign in your driveway, and I ran through your stop sign in your driveway. A cop can't give me a ticket for that. Now, if it was on the street, different story. I learned I learned this in school years ago, and I remember the teacher was talking about that. I was like, really? I can run all stop signs? No way. I mean, it's good practice to stop because you want cars hitting you and things like that. Yeah, but
you don't really want the consequences of if like everybody just didn't obey what was going on there. But yeah, legally standing, that's
like you can't get
really
it. Like a cop can't give you a ticket. I mean, now there might be some cops out there that are probably going to say, "Yeah, I'm going to give you a ticket for riding a stop sign in a mall, whatever." Yeah. But legally, you can fight that in court because they can say, "Well, what street was this on? It wasn't on a street, judge. It was actually in a mall parking lot." Oh, then I'm throwing this out. So, but anyway,
so that's probably like a telltale sign of like, like if the road you're on doesn't have like a street sign, like, you couldn't say like this is on this street, then yeah, you could probably fight that. That's interesting. That's some good consumer advice right there.
Right.
although we did, like you said, it's probably better if we just adhere to those rules. But I'm just saying that like a cop can't, even if they try to, they can't give you a physical ticket because it wasn't on a physical public road. If you do things on a public road, different story. So when it comes to actually driving without a permit or a license, it's best to do it in areas that they can't give you a ticket in for doing that. So that's why I chose, not going to say the place, but I chose a business today's Sunday. I mean, they're not open, obviously. And they're big. They got a big parking lot area. And so that is where we chose. We pulled up in there. I did a few laps around the place, kind of scouted it out, kind of like what we did for Cool Cars with Chris when I did like our video shoots. Kind of scouted it out a little bit, make sure it's like not being used or whatever. And so went in there and I pulled over and gave him the keys. I gave him the key. I said, "Here, drive." And he was so excited. I can tell he was nervous because as he pulled into the place, we started circling around, kind of looping around, kind of scouting the area. His palms were sweaty because he kept like rubbing his palms on his pants. Like I tell him, like he's, when your palms, you're nervous, his palms are sweaty, and he did that thing where he kind of, rubbed them on his pants and kind of get the sweat off them. Yeah. And I was like, okay, don't relax, you'll be fine, you're fine. And so, he gets behind the wheel, make sure he buckles up and does that kind of stuff. And at first, I made sure that just have him like not use the accelerator. Just put it in D and just make sure your foot is over the brake. Get a feel for how the brakes work. Yeah. Like gentle, don't slam too much. But I think you're figuring it out. So I think he was pressing a little too quickly and a little too harsh at first. And it was like jabbing the brakes and like, slamming on him a little bit. Okay, we'll take it easier, And so we built up to him using a little bit of the accelerator because I want him to get familiar with like going from gas to brake. Because with an emergency, you're going to need to learn to find that brake pedal really fast. Yeah. And it may not be easy to, if you're not thinking like which pedal to hit at the wrong time. And I've heard stories where people like have hit the accelerator when they meant to hit the brake and they went through a building or something like that. It happens. Yeah. And so we're doing a few laps around the parking lot and, going from like a little bit of acceleration, slow down for the turn,
and then turn the wheel. And one thing I knew that he was doing at first when we were doing these turns is that he was overcorrecting the turn and overcorrecting back the other way. So you make the turn to the right, for example, and then instead of like straightening it out, he would keep it turned still. Now he has to crank the wheel the other way to get it back to straight.
Oh yeah. So
you know,
not really kind of feeling out because like, naturally like the car is sort of like
straightens itself out.
Yeah. So he's like just kind of holding it at that position until like, oh, well, now I got to
go back the other way. Because now the car's going too far to the right instead of going straight. Yeah. And so we're kind of ironing those things out. And I got in the car and I kind of showed him, listen, the wheel, if you turn around, the wheel will kind of like straighten itself out, but kind of keep it, don't keep your hands.
Just let go.
Right. Or whatever. And kind of get a feel for the car, get a feel for what it can do, get a feel for the accelerator, get a feel for the brake pedal, get a feel for how you press it down, what it feels like, what the engine response feels like, the turning radius, what it feels like. Going over speed bumps because you're in a parking lot like that. There are speed bumps, and don't hit it hard. Make sure you come up to it. Slow down before you hit it because he did hit it kind of hard in the first. We went over one. He's like thump thump. I said, Jacob, don't go over so fast. Like slow it down a little bit before you hit the speed bump. Like get the speed bump, slow it down before you go over the speed bump, and then go over nice and easy. Now we also did parking too. Let's go to parking too. So we did parking. So there was like a whole bunch of spots just like facing the grass. Straight in front of you, like pick your choice. You don't have to like back up. You have to do an angle or anything. Just find one. So he did that, but he was so far away from the curb. I think a little further. I think it's a thing too, trying to learn like distance.
So this is parallel parking.
Just straight into a parking space, like pulling straight into like imagine parking spaces that are right in front of you. And you're in a parking lot and there's no one around you. Just go straight into a spot.
Just drive in. But he's like, he didn't quite know like the distance of like the front of the car got you.
Right. I helped him out on the second time he did. I got out of the car and helped him do it. But thank God his Mustang isn't slammed to the ground because he would hit the curb. The bumper just went right over it was a small micro curb. And his bumper went over the overhang by about a foot. I said, look, we went over, but thank God your car is slower.
Dude, I got to tell you that's one thing now, like with the lip on my car.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That I've had situations where I'm way too far out because I just am not.
You're afraid to
not want to take the
car,
risk because it's like if it just touches it, it's just probably going to take the whole thing off. So
I think I bumped it with my car a few times on a few different occasions because it had the same deal. It didn't have a lip like yours does, but it had the bumper was very low. The car was very low in the front. And so, I know exactly what that is. So he did keep it away, but then we were practicing a few different things and we even practiced him backing to a spot. Like,
oh, cool.
Like, okay, you all these parking spots, just back into this one here. And he kind of did it, but I think backing up, I don't think he's quite there yet. Because he's letting it go, but like not really looking. Like I don't know where he's looking. He's like looking at the windshield or something like that. I'm like,
does that have a reverse camera?
We bought one. We tried installing it over the weekend, but it's above my pay grade. Figuring how to install that thing because we tried installing it and
but stock like it doesn't.
No, this is before. Think of this car is before Bluetooth.
Okay, yeah. It's not even for just general like because I know like. Some cars like early 2000s they have it just for phone like for calls but you couldn't use it for music.
You know what? Okay, this car has the Shaker 500 sound system, which sounds great. Right? Like 500 watts or whatever they do. Mustang, they put these sound systems in the Mustang. Great. Yeah. It didn't have a little aux button on there, right? Too, right? But no aux port, which is kind of weird. That button for the aux, but no actual like plug anything in. I think it's another adapter you have to buy. I don't know. And on the steering wheel, I think it's got cruise control buttons, but that's pretty much it. No volume knob or nothing. And so there's no phone call button or any of that kind of stuff. This is before Bluetooth was like a normal thing, I think. 2005. Think about the phone you had back in 2005.
Well, I didn't have one, but yeah, but what the kind of phone that people were walking around with? That was before the iPhone too. I feel like
iPhone came out in 2007.
Yeah.
So
around then,
I mean, I'm not talking smartphone. I'm talking like everyday person phone was probably the Motorola Razr flip phone or something like that. I think it's what I had back in 2005. And so I think that had Bluetooth on it, and everybody had that stupid little like headset thing you put in your ear, and you walk around. They call it the Bluetooth headset thing, and everybody had those.
Yeah.
And I don't think cars really put them in, at least not for like the Ford Mustang. Maybe for like a Lexus or Infinity, maybe something like that. But for the Mustang, no, this one did not have that. So,
it was kind of like a pick and choose thing because, like, weirdly enough, like both like the FX45 I had and the M35 have iPod adapters that like were in there as stock. Like they had
maybe that's the auxiliary adapter I'm thinking of then.
Yeah, but it was specific to like the iPod pin. So like it was the big like rectangular like slot in for like, just like an iPod Touch or iPod I forget, the Nano or whatever.
Yeah, I had one of those.
Yeah. That was my first iPod, was iPod Nano.
I had mine as a hand-me-down. But yeah, and then I got the iPhone and I just went, Apple all day. But no, the radio doesn't have any of that kind of stuff in it. So I did get him a aftermarket, thank you Amazon, Apple CarPlay head unit that works on the actual radio itself. And you can take phone calls because I have an iPhone. I use Apple CarPlay and I'm used to it. Every car I rent, I make sure it's got Apple CarPlay on the rental. If it doesn't, I'll send it back. In fact, we did that in Hawaii. In Hawaii, they tried giving us a minivan. It had old-fashioned whatever. I said, no, I need Apple CarPlay because I need the maps and all that kind of stuff. So, but anyways, so he doesn't have that stuff. So I said, well, look on Amazon, find someone. The one I bought for him had the most reviews. Had a ton of reviews on this thing. So let's get this one. It wasn't very much. So I ordered it. It's pretty much plug and play. And you connect your phone to that. And the way it connects to the radio, because there is no actual like plug to plug it to the radio, it does the FM transmission to the radio. And so we got it plugged in like that. But it also has a backup camera. Now the backup camera you can run all the way to the back of your car. And so on Saturday, we're trying to tear the car apart, the bumper and the lights, trying to figure out how to install this backup camera. But like you have to somehow like drill hole. I don't know how to drill any holes in the car, but you have to drill a hole in the car to get the wire plugged in, to run through the bumper, run through the bumper, to run up through the trunk and then into the front. And plus you got to take the whole light assembly apart, which you took the light assembly apart, just trying to figure out how to like splice in the power signal into the backup light. Because that's what triggers the actual camera to turn on, is when the backup light turns on, it triggers the camera to turn on.
Yeah.
And so you got to splice that into that. And I'm like, that's when I was like, this is above my pay grade.
I'm calling it. Yeah.
So I'm like telling his mom about that. We're working on it. And she says, well, maybe he doesn't need to really do the backup camera. It'd be kind of fun to do. It'd be easy to do. I mean, if it's working and we get it working and set up, it'd be super convenient, but, I might have someone else work on that because, I'm trying to figure it out. Another way we could do it, which is really tacky, would be to like have the wire hang over the bumper from the tip, from like when you close the trunk down.
Oh no, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's the only otherwise. Other than that, like I don't know how to get the wire inside to the. I'm sure it's an easy way to do it and all that, but I said it's above my pay grade, man. So I'm trying to mess with the thing and trying to figure it out, and we spent forever trying to figure it out. I'm like, you know what? Well, we'll figure it out later. But it does come with a camera set, dude. I paid $50 for that head unit.
That's with all that functionality with the camera and everything.
Yep.
That's not bad.
It sounds good. Amazon, it works like Apple CarPlay. It's got all the features, and it's like a 7-inch screen, and it's mounted on the windshield. I think I see it in the video. I have it mounted on the windshield, kind of brought down right by the dash.
So it's almost like a like if it was like a phone mount per se, but it's its own dedicated screen. It's an Apple CarPlay. It's an actual Apple, it's not made by Apple, but it's like it's a screen, and your phone connects to it like it does in your car normally. Like your regular car, it connects like your car does. Yeah.
And you do all the stuff like the Spotify, the Apple Music, the phone calls, the messages, the maps. It's all right there. It's all right there.
No, that is interesting because I had something sort of different in my mind when you described it initially, but to have, basically to have like the Apple CarPlay set up with like a screen dedicated to it as well. Like this, but it's a separate unit is a pretty cool concept.
Yeah, I mean, we could rip out the
like
Ford
the stock
sound
head
system
unit,
and put it in a whole new. That's probably the proper way to do it if you're gonna do it or whatever.
But that's a lot. That was the point where I feel like head units really started to become like part of the car, like where like taking out the stock one. Back in the day, like I felt like where you had like the '90s cars and things, like the radio itself was still like kind of its own entity. Like it wasn't really like giving you any alerts or like anything of that sort.
Oh, right now, yeah.
Whereas if you try to take like a modern car, it's like you ever touch the head unit of that, and you're just having to rewrite the whole car at that point. Like
right, yeah, because it does everything these days.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is this one here, I also noticed too, is that of course there's lots of different like features and thing. You can like have like equalizer, sound, and different things and all that, and different display colors and things, graphics and stuff like that. But you can also vertically flip it like a Tesla car. So like Tesla has like the vertical screen from top to bottom. You can flip this one around too and flip it in the settings. So it'll be vertical too. If you want to mount it that way, you can do it that way too. I figured I was playing with that too. So that's kind of a neat little thing. But yeah, it works great for the most part. I mean, it makes it feel like you're driving like a regular, normal modern car.
Yeah.
And I think for someone who's 16 getting their license, I know they're probably going to have the music and everything playing, but I think it's also great for like phone calls, messages, maps, directions, turn by turn directions, how to get home somewhere. Like that's like essential.
I mean, the biggest, I was weird because I was looking at this recently where like it's funny because I relate to this well because in the video game era of like playing games like Grand Theft Auto and some of like the open world like driving games and things like that. It was a post somebody put up about why do you drive with your maps like open even when you're not navigating anywhere. Because I do this and I'd never really realized that like it's a habit of mine to either have like the in-car map or have like my Google map open on CarPlay. And it's because like when you were growing up like playing video games like that, the map was your main like source of like where are you and like how do you navigate to like the next thing and where are your missions and all those things. And so now like driving a car around, it's been basically the way that I've learned how to navigate really well is to know like when the map's up, I can, I see where the main road is and I know where the highways are. And once you really get used to a city, like, what roads go in what direction and different things like that. And I've like gotten so much in the habit of like, even if I'm not using it to navigate to a specific, like if I know where I'm going, I still like to have like a map up in front of me just so I can see like the road layouts and sometimes I can even like decide to make like an alternate route because I know like these two roads intersect at a certain point. But yeah, I think nowadays, like, I mean, back in the day, you would just have like a full out printout map or something.
Oh gosh, yeah.
You pull over to the side of the road. If you need to navigate, you figure out where you are. But I mean, in the age of having a map on on the screen right in front of you, I think it's a really great way, especially for a new driver to like learn the lay of the land where they are and kind of understand, road directions and different things like that. And be able to reference it kind of like on hand, almost like as if, again, like you were in a video game, but, in real life, just kind of know, where roads are and things. So, yeah, I think getting them set up with that is definitely kind of a good thing to kind of clue them in and get them just one of those folks that are just on the road and knowing where they're going type things and not just one of those. It's like, I just follow GPS wherever it goes, even if it drives me off a cliff.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure that's happened too, so. It does happen from time to time, but I think that like for me, well, I've used it more when I'm in an area that I'm not familiar with. How do you get back to the freeway from here? Like, how do I get back? Like once I get back to like the freeway or back to whatever I need to be, I'm fine. It's just like, hey, how do I get from where I'm at now back to the freeway? Is it this street or that street? Or is it this turn or that turn? Or is it that, kind of a thing? So I think that I just hit home button and that usually works out for me. And I get going from there. And it's pretty easy to do. So anyways, we got that head unit installed. It works great. It's $50, whatever. It does a job. And so, I mean, it did come with a camera, but we didn't install it yet. So And we did plug it in though. It does look great on on the screen. It looks like your typical backup camera.
Yeah.
And so no complaints there. $50 though. My goodness, what a deal.
Yeah.
For a full Apple CarPlay thing. I mean, that's cheaper than like. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's probably the same price.
It would cost me 50 or more. Like because I don't have wireless CarPlay in like the end. You have to plug it in to to the USB.
Same with my truck too. You have to plug it in mine too. Yeah, mine's plug in. I know the newer ones, but with this Apple CarPlay, the one in the Mustang, it's all you set up on your phone through Bluetooth or whatever. I think there's an Apple CarPlay app on your phone. You got to connect with that. But
you connect it, but then it's like you don't have to plug it into something else, which, again, like the adapter that I was looking at to make my car have wireless CarPlay was more than $50.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So
I have seen
to get like a whole setup with like rear view camera and like wireless functionality for $50.
And also, I think this one's got mirror play too. I haven't messed with it yet, but it's got like mirrored, like basically anything on your phone, like even a YouTube video, you can mirror it to the device and play it. I don't say if that's driving, but I think it can do that too with it or whatever. I haven't messed with it too much, but hope it doesn't do that. Hope he's figured out how to do that while he's driving, watching YouTube while he's driving. I have seen that. I've seen many of people on devices like that on their dash watching movies or YouTube or something while they're driving. Like come on now, while you're driving at night when you clearly can see you're watching a movie. Because at night you can see if you're
you can see everything.
You can see everything.
There shouldn't be anything on a regular driving scenario. There shouldn't be that much going on in terms, like you can see all like the lighting changes and everything. Like that's definitely not your map or like anything regularly.
I'm actually seeing a movie. I'm actually seeing video. I'm actually seeing like a full on like that person's physically watching something on their device that's on their dash. And they're watching like a movie or something like that while they're driving. I've seen truckers do this. That's one thing I've noticed. So like some over the road driver. I was driving in San Diego, like driving down the 5 or 15. I forget which one I was on at night, of course. And I'm at the same height as he is. I look over and I see the guy full on watching like a Netflix show, like watching like full on like television on the device. I was right on his dash, like right in front of him. And I'm like, damn. That's not be safe.
It's like, I don't want to be anywhere near this guy.
Right. He's just watching TV. And I'm thinking like, is this how over-the-road drivers watch TV shows? They just like watch it while they're driving. Is this how they do it? It can't be safe. So, I see them talk on their phones too and stuff. So, I mean, whatever you're going to do is whatever you're going to do. Just don't hit anybody. Don't hit me or anything like that. So, but you, Courage, you were teasing me something before we got on the air here that you had something you want to share or talk about. What you got, man?
Oh, yeah. Nonetheless, this will probably come out after I do like a review on the YouTube channel. So I'm not that afraid to just talk about what's going on. But I have a somewhat project that sort of fell into my lap over the last week or so. And obviously on the channel, I'm going to probably frame it as I got a project and I want folks to watch the video so that they, see what the project is. But I'll just go ahead and share it now is that I had a neighbor of mine. He sees me and the kids a lot and he sees me out like doing things with the car, working on the car, cleaning the car and things like that. And I'd never talked to him before, but I seen him out with his little one, and he came up and he was like, "Oh, introduced himself. I got to know him a little bit." He said, I noticed that you do a lot, kind of with your car, and it seems like your kids are really into it." And he's like, I have this like old mini bike in my garage that a friend of mine gave me. Had been sitting outside for like a year or something like that. And now it's been in my garage, and I told my wife I was going to do something with it. Haven't done anything with it. And he's like, "Man, like, I thought I'd ask if you'd be interested in, kind of taking it off my hands, maybe doing something with it, rebuilding it or something." And I've never even ridden a mini bike. Like I've got like a small electric, one of those little Jetson bikes and, that I ride around here and there. But I have never been on like, a motorized bike ever. No motorcycles, no mini bikes, anything like that. But he showed me it And he's like, yeah, like, the frame and everything's good. It definitely 100% basically needs everything else rebuilt. Like it had been sitting
Wow.
outside, like the motors, the chains all rusted. The motor, I have no idea if you would ever even be able to get it to re-crank over. But the frame itself is solid. Like it's, no rust on the frame.
So you're thinking maybe what, LS swap or what?
Yeah. Do LS swap, even was it a RB swap in there or something?
Yeah, why not? If you can sit on it, why not? Right.
Yeah. As long as you can get on it, like you can make it work.
It's funny you say it. I had one. My dad had one of those.
Yeah.
And I took it riding around the desert. There's a video of me. Actually, my most popular video on my other YouTube channel was me riding around in the mini bike. Yeah. It's like a 10-second clip or whatever. Back when videos were 10-second clips on YouTube back in the day,
Yeah.
Or when YouTube first came out. And so, but I remember it was like a desert one. Now, is this a desert one or like a street one? A street one.
It's more of a street one, but yeah, I've been doing a little bit of research and it's pretty easy to kind of, at least from the front suspension perspective of like getting some like beefier front suspension. And kind of getting some beefier rear tires so you can kind of off-road it a little bit more. But this one definitely, in its current state is a little bit more of like a street mini bike for sure.
If I remember correctly, the one my dad had, he had to like pull crank it to get it to start. It's like a lawnmower starter kind of thing. You pull crank like old fashioned lawnmowers. And then it basically sounded like a lawnmower engine. It basically looks like a lawnmower engine. I think it is.
A lot of people like, that's usually like their starter is like, a lawnmower motor. And, you can upgrade it, which was definitely my like first mindset of like, can you like, what can you really do with these things? And that just sent me down this, huge rabbit trail of like dudes upgrading their like mini bikes and,
but there's no gear shift. I remember it's just one speed.
It's one speed, yeah.
Yeah, and you cruise around. I think
you can change
the
you can change the gearing though. You
really?
You can actually, yeah. So it is only one gear, but you can gear it so that it'll ring itself out so that you can get kind of a higher top speed.
I think I was going like 20. I don't remember. We didn't have those speedometers. I have no idea really tell. But maybe it was less than that. Probably a lot less than that or whatever. Yeah. But riding the thing around the desert and stuff in the sand and some straighter areas. And I was probably going maybe 10, 20 miles an hour. I don't even know.
But on like something that small, like you even if you're going like 10, 15 miles an hour, like you still feel like you're doing something like,
Yeah, I mean, you got to see the video. I mean, I got some video. I'll show you some pictures I have of me riding the thing.
Yeah.
Back in the day. I thought I was super cool, have my shades on, cruising around the mini bike in the desert. That was super cool,
Man, that's going to be me. Like, I'm just picturing it now, just having the thing all like freshly painted, got my LS, motor in it.
Oh, dude.
Got the exhaust. And I'm just rolling down the street on this little mini bike with my glasses on and everything. But, well,
that's pretty cool, man. So you took it from the guy or what? He just gave it to you?
Yeah, like I told him, I did tell him because right at that time where he asked me, I was like, my garage was just completely in shambles because I had to move stuff around to get to our like HVAC system because we had to check something. And then he asked me like, oh, do you want to, take it and, kind of do something with it? And I'm like thinking in my head, like, I have nowhere to put this right now because I'm like, my garage is a mess and I like to have it at least so I can park like one of the cars in the garage. And I couldn't even do that for like a good week because I just didn't have time to clean it up. But he held it for me for a couple of days and he walked it on over. He lives right down the street from me. And he just was like, yeah, go ahead, knock yourself out. Like I wasn't doing anything with it. He's got another little one on the way. And so he just knows he's not going to get to it. And, my biggest thing around it where, people probably call it, to be totally honest, when I put it up on my channel, as a little bit of clickbait, to be totally honest. But I think that, I've talked about it before that I actually really want a project car at some point. Like now's not the time, but I definitely want to have something that is like a dedicated project car. Like I know how to do certain things on my car. And I've, even my Z back when I had it, the 300ZX, I've done like large projects on that car, but I think there's a difference in when you buy a car that you're planning to drive, but you do projects on it versus buying a physical project car. Like I think that there's like a different, kind of mindset you have to go into that with. And so I think it's pretty cool in my mind to have something like this, like a little mini bike that, again, is going to be a project. Like I got to rebuild the whole thing pretty much and, get a new motor and
but those
remount it
so
and
small.
all that.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't know where you find an engine for that though. I don't even know where. I wouldn't even know.
So there's some pretty popular, kind of go-to engines for these.
Oh, okay.
There's a 212cc. They call it the Predator engine.
Ooh, fancy pants, man.
Yeah,
that sounds dangerous.
It does. It does. It's a little beefy motor.
You would pop up a wheelie up down the street.
Yeah. It's a pretty beefy motor, and like you can upgrade like the intakes. You can actually get like a runner exhaust that kind of goes out the back. But the base, motor, the 212cc, like, it'll probably base get you like with stock gearing would get you, up to like, 20, 25 miles an hour. But like I said, you can easily change out the gearing, and then upgrade, small, like little, external and internal, I guess you can call it bolt on, things to the motor. And dudes are getting these things up to like 40, 45, 50 miles an hour with these things.
Wow. I think that my quad, when I was racing my ATV quads, they were doing top speeds of like 55 miles an hour on average, maybe 60 on like a really good.
And you got 4 beefy wheels to keep you safe.
Yeah, but you're flying. You literally, when I was hitting top speed on those things, it is crazy fast. You're going fast, and it's nuts. So I only imagine on something like this.
Yeah, something tiny like that. Yeah, like that would probably be like a one and done. Like I would do this once just to like have the experience under my belt. And
I guess the big question I have, man, is what are you gonna do with it once it's up and running?
Yeah. No, that's a good question. I mean, really, it's the experience of it is going to be the big part. Like, as you know, like I have 2 little ones. My youngest is actually more of like the car kid. Like he is really into it. He'll wake me up on, Saturday mornings, like asking, what cars and coffee we're going to or where we're going to go see cars. And so
that's great, man.
He's really
like that. They're like, I'm gonna sleep in, man. Leave me alone.
Yeah, my oldest is like that, which, again, at 6 years old, I'm like, this sleep in phase and this sort of teenager mentality started a little early, to be totally honest.
Man,
but,
yeah.
But my youngest, like I said, I really think again, when I was thinking about a project car, I was like, oh yeah, it'd be cool to really kind of start, showing him how to dive into a project and different things like that. And he's already kind of seen me do that with the N and some of the other stuff I've done with some of the other cars. But to have something small that, tangible that he can kind of be around and, maybe even like help out a little bit, hand me the tools here. And, I think is like the experience part of it's going to be valuable. But at the end of the day, like, I definitely plan to kind of have it be a little bit of like the little fun driven dad mobile kind of thing. Like I would love to like paint it like, a red, like, my logo that I have for the channel. It's like, red, and even get like a little like sticker or something on the front, like on the front fender. And
does it have like a fake gas tank? Because ours had a fake gas tank on it.
It has not like so you can do that because the frame is sort of, once I take everything off, like including taking the motor out and like all the other, little accessories, the frame has room where you can sort of mount like different things in different places. But right now the fuel tank is below the frame.
It's like a little small, like lawnmower fuel tank.
Yeah.
That's what
but you could do something that sits over the top where the handlebars are, like kind of like a motorcycle.
Because ours had the like mock fake. Like I first saw the thing. Oh, it's like a big gas tank here, and it's like, oh wait, this is totally fake. It's like it's just hovering around the frame. It just just to give it space there, make it look like it's a big fuel tank, like a Harley or something fuel tank. But it's not. It's just nothing. It just looks like a tank.
That's interesting though, because I have seen those as like accessories to like purchase, and I never thought I hadn't thought the fact that it's like not real, like it's just a visual thing. But yeah, no, I mean it probably makes it look a little bit cooler than maybe
it makes it look like
small.
It's bigger, like it's an actual like full motorcycle. When I first saw the thing, my dad bought the thing, and I was like, this thing looks like a motorcycle.
Yeah.
But because it looks fairly like a decent size. I mean, just physically, it looks like a decent size. It's not like, obviously it's not the size of like a real motorcycle or like It's probably the size of like a kid's bicycle with big tires and like an engine.
It is, yeah. It basically is. Like it's like my son. Like it's a bit bigger than my like oldest son's bike, but like a kind of regular kid's bike. It probably is about that size with just like some beefier kind of treaded tires and things like that. It's weird to me just how comfortable. Like I see some pretty big dudes on some YouTube videos riding these things around, and
well,
I'm
I've seen some of those. I've seen modified like bicycles that have got like really long frames and big cushy seats and things like that. And they've got the boom box playing on the back of it and things like that.
Yeah,
there's some really well done like beach cruiser bicycles that are like really, really. We're talking like like really well done.
Yeah.
And I can imagine where some of these mini bikes, people probably have done very similar things. Like, I don't know how this works. The thing I don't understand is like, where can you physically, legally like drive the thing?
No, this is a good question. I've been sort of, coming to the realization. I haven't done a lot of research on it, but I've been coming to the realization that I probably won't be able to just be riding this thing around just willy-nilly without getting myself in trouble at some point. But we do have a lot up here, particularly in the Inland Empire area. We have a couple of like dirt, they're dirt bike courses and like dirt bike facilities, but we have a couple of like little off-roading areas, like in like the Paula area that you can take it out and you can ride it around. I suspect that like if you're being reasonable, like some of our like little bike lane areas, like you can, because e-bikes, like you see e-bikes all the time.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering about that. I have heard like motorized bicycles before, where they're like a bicycle, but like you hear the engine, little kind of engine on the thing.
Yeah, like you see those around. Like I definitely see those around pretty often.
I don't know how that works though, because my dad got his registered as like with the DMV and actually got tags for it and everything.
Yeah,
and so I'm not sure how that works.
And I suspect it's not maybe as big of a problem if you like already have a driver's license and you get things like registered. But I imagine like, I grew up back in the Bay Area, and I remember like kids would have these like, and they're like 16 or something. And
I know that when you go to the desert, if you have a motorcycle, you have to get it registered as an off-road vehicle. It's a whole thing in the DMV. It has to be registered. You get a whole like sticker, and I don't know if you get a plate, or maybe you do get a plate. You do get a small miniature plate, like a motorcycle plate for it.
Oh, that'd be cool if I could get a customized like little vanity.
Oh, there you go. There you're thinking big now. But
yeah.
Yeah, you could totally do that. And I think that I would have to like start doing some research on the laws, because when you're talking like a mini bike versus like a regular motorcycle,
yeah,
like I don't know when you get below a certain like engine size, if it doesn't even count, if it counts as a scooter. Versus an actual motorcycle, maybe it counts it as a motorized scooter.
But hey, if I drop the LS in it, I just totally throw all of those things out the window.
It'll fit, right? It'll fit. Like, I don't know how it'll fit. Although it does remind me of have you ever seen the Dodge? No. Who made the motorcycle? The Viper one? I forget what it's called. There's a motorcycle.
Oh yeah, I just read my kids. We got this book that we've been reading. It's actually called Cool Cars. So that's like the title.
Oh, there you go. I wrote the book, by the way.
Yeah, you're It's like thanks for letting this like sit in our public library.
But there's a motorcycle that has
it's like the Tomahawk.
That's what it's called. Yes, you're right. The Tomahawk. Yes, I couldn't think of it. Yes, and it's got like this weird, funky, like dual tire in the front. Like instead of one single tire.
That was the biggest thing that I didn't know. I always thought that it was just one big, fat tire in the front and the back. But
it's got these weird like dual tires in the front.
Yeah.
But it's got a Viper engine on a freaking motorcycle.
Yeah.
Like when I first heard about that, I'm like, how is that physically even possible? Like how does it physically even work? And so the way it works, I guess, is the engine. You kind of like lay around the engine. You like lay over the engine when you ride.
You do, yeah.
But like far as like figuring out the drive shaft, I guess the drive shaft would just push it to the back wheel somehow. Like I don't know how to do like the flywheel. How do you figure that part out? Like how do you figure the gear, like transmission? Like how does that even work?
And just imagine if you ever tip over on that thing.
Oh, let's say
like I imagine with the with the long wheel, like the big wide wheels. Maybe it'd probably be pretty hard too, but. Just
falling over, figure out like getting it up off you, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Even regular motorcycles are heavy. Like a big Harley is very heavy too. So that thing falls on you, it can hurt.
Yeah.
And so, but I've seen some abominations where people have put like, V8s or whatever motorcycle kind of things and things like that. So it is possible. I don't know about a mini bike, but it's possible. And so I think anything's possible. So have fun with your mini bike, man. I want to see you running around. I want to see lots of YouTube videos of you cruise around this thing, firing it up, doing the whole thing. You got to bring it out to Cars and Coffee. You got to bring out the Cars and Coffee.
I got to have a truck at that point.
Oh, what about, I thought you got an SUV. Don't you have an SUV?
Not anymore. I used to.
Oh.
Yeah. But even trying to lift it up into that, like, I mean, you could. It'd be a 2-person deal, but I probably could have got it back in the back of the FX when I had it. But yeah, like that's something I thought about too. I was going to mention when you were saying like having a little beach cruiser or something. If I lived closer to the beach, like that would just be such a cool little thing to just have, just to like cruise down the boardwalk.
Well, I don't know about the laws with motorized on the sidewalk. I don't think that's allowed. So that's the same with drones. I was going to get a drone, but then all these laws came out. You can't fly here, can't fly there. I'm like, where the hell are you going to fly the thing? And so I'm like, well, do I even need a drone now at this point? It's like,
well, what you said about size and things is actually pretty, it's a pretty comparable thing with drones. Is like drones under like 200 grams are, you don't need. And that's why I fly my little mini, like the Neo. Like I take that thing around all the time because I can just literally take that thing out. Most people don't even notice because it's so small. It is loud. So,
I think all drones are has that same sound.
The newer ones, like the newer DJI, like, they're like top tier ones. Actually, they've really found a way to mute that like usual drone noise that you hear. And the motors themselves just don't really work as hard unless like, with the really big ones, like, or the, the Mavics and some of those, like they found a way to make sure the motors aren't really like at full tilt unless you're really like, using it that way. Versus the Neo, like the little tiny one. Yeah, that one is so small that like, even if you get a light gust, like you hear like the motors are like at full churn. And so, it literally does, the whole like joke about drones just sounding like a, buzzing bee, like a whole bunch of angry bees. That's exactly what that drone sounds like.
Do you think drones put the helicopter film footage out of business?
That's a good, yeah. I mean, because to be honest, way back when I first got into drones, I was trying to get into like doing some, some cinematic type, just kind of submitting that to like, what they call them, the stock footage websites and things like that. But the thing about it is that to really get some of like the top tier, like movie quality, aerial shots, you really need a large camera to do it.
Yeah, talking like 4K cinema.
Like 4K cinema, like those red cameras, and a typical drone can't carry that much of a payload. Like
the cameras are getting better. I mean, GoPro's always getting better with their stuff all the time.
It is true. Yeah. Like, I'll say for anything that's not just like a production level movie or something of that sort, drones really do sort of take a large market share of like what you would normally want to get a helicopter or something like that. Because you remember all those
movies from like the 80s and 90s that had like any kind of sweeping like helicopter style shot.
Yeah,
like a lot of movies did that back in the day. They were all done by helicopter, but today you can totally do all.
You don't need you do not need a helicopter to do so. Like some of those like sweeping through like those scenic hills and things like that. You can throw a drone up with really like any of the top DJI, not even the top ones, like the Mavics, all of those, like,
and even maybe for like some of those like say you did like a dog fighting, like low ground flying around, airplanes, dog fighting kind of stuff, you could use drones for the actual footage of flying around and stuff. And have like the actual like mock up of the cockpit kind of a thing in like a studio or something like that. I mean, you can totally do that, I mean, somebody can do it in their garage and make like Top Gun in their garage or whatever, if they wanted to or something like that. And I've seen some YouTubers get really creative and try to replicating like some Hollywood scenes or trailers, and they try to do the whole thing like, out of their garage or whatever kind of stuff, and they do very well, a good job. And some of them with even CGI stuff they can do on their computer. I mean, computers today, like the CGI stuff you can do today, even with the AI now, I mean, you can do pretty much anything, which kind of makes you think that like, even though we all can do this stuff now, we all have access to drones, we have access to cameras and AI and all this stuff. But I mean, even still though, it's like it's so much now. I just wonder, like you do YouTube stuff. I just wonder because there is so much, like everywhere.
Yeah.
I had trying to stand apart and trying to create something that is interesting to people, but doesn't just blend into everybody else's stuff. You know?
It's I don't remember if it was you that I was talking about this with or somebody else, but in the age of, and you bring up a super valid point, because that's, it's so easy now to, like, just write something well for for AI and just get it to produce a scene with all different actors and all kinds of things. Like, you can just do a whole little production on your own just with AI. But somebody I talked with was saying, like, how in an age where we get so confused whether something's reality versus AI, we're starting to get to a point where people are kind of looking for, like, content that they know is, like, true to life, like it is, like, somebody that they can relate to, and, like, they know their story, and, like, they know for sure that this isn't AI. And I sort of have leaned into that to say that, if you can create some relatability to your content, that sort of now helps you stand out to the content that gets clumped into either it's obviously AI or it could be AI.
Well, even some of the AI content is trying to replicate, like, human behavior.
It's
quirks,
true.
let me think about that for a second. Like the stumbling over stuff, even the funky laughs and things like that. Some of the good AI will try to replicate that stuff to make it appear that this is an AI show, but yet it sounds pretty human, for the most part. It's getting some of the quirks that we all kind of do. So that's something to be aware of. But I'm thinking, like, when you get all the stuff, like the drones and all that kind of stuff, it just seems like there's just so much. Like, I think it's like early technology. If you get into something early enough, you're kind of like, on the ground floor, figuring it out and stuff like that. But if you get into it so late, it's like, what do you do? I mean, everything's been done and everything's kind of being done. Like, how do you stand apart? Everyone's trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure it out. We're all trying to figure it out. But I think if you are more human than the robots are, and I think sharing stories, that's another thing too. Is like, you have personal stories that robots do not have. I mean, they can probably make something up or whatever. Like a time with the Mars, I mean, with the Mars, and I drove my mini bike, with the LS swap engine and the thing, drove it around. And then I ran into an alien. And he said, "Hey, what motor you got in there?" I said, "LS, dude." He said, "What's an LS?" So something like that. I mean, that could be a total AI story I just made up just now. Patent it. It's yours, I guess.
And they'll do the whole production, and somebody over there is going to be like, "I think I believe this. I think this is actually real."
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, what they I always tell everybody, you can believe what you want to believe. Like I told you the story the way I told you the story, but hey, you can believe whatever you want to believe, kind of a thing. So it's really up to you, man. But hey, Courage, man, this has been so fantastic. The real, authentic you coming to the show, not the AI version of Courage, but the real version of Courage. Thank you so much for being here, man.
I haven't worked that out yet, where I could just AI myself out to other things yet. So,
and it's the technology's already here if you want to use it. There's lots of companies that do that already. There's this one, I kid you not. There was this one, I looked into it. I did like the free test demo, but that's with a lot of these tools. You do the free test demo and then get bored with it really quickly. Okay, it's stupid. And I just forget about it. There's this one, I forget what it's called, but something Gen. Hey Gen, maybe it's called, where you can do the literally cloning of yourself, a video cloning yourself. You got to set it up and pay for it or whatever, but you get that all dialed in, and then you can just, like, feed it scripts and stuff and let it do the whole talking head thing. You don't have to be here for it.
I am not ready. I'm not ready for some of this stuff, man.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to be here. I mean, obviously now you can do audio versions. You can clone your voice and do a full-on, like, podcast. Just you talking, would you not even be here? Just type it in. In fact, you have AI write the script and do it all and whatever and stuff too.
And then you wake up the next morning like, what did I say? Like you go
or you
viral.
Get a hate mail like, I can't believe you said that or whatever.
It's like, what did I say? Like,
well, people do that now. How many times you do a show now, you're like, I forgot what I said, man. The last show, I forgot what all I said. So, but man, this has been great, man. Thank you once again for stopping by, and thank you so much for listening back at home. I appreciate you. We both appreciate you. And Cool Cars with Chris is taking the world by a storm, man. We are going around the world, and coming up soon, we're working on this, working on a new level, a new excitement for Cool Cars with the Chris. We're working on it right now, working on the, crossing the T's, dotting the I's, getting legal involved and figuring out all the permits and all the stuff we need to do. But we'll be doing that real soon. And we will see you on the very next episode.